plan. There comes a time when life quietly holds up a mirror, not to shame you, but to wake you, plan. To show you the distance between the life you're living and the life you're capable of living. You look around and suddenly, plan. It feels like everyone is ahead of you. People your age, younger than you, people with fewer resources, fewer chances, somehow, plan, they've made it. And you're still trying to start. And that feeling, that sting, it cuts deep, plan. But let me tell you something no one else. Well, it's not too late for you. You're not behind, plan. You're just asleep to your own power. This isn't about comparing lives. It's about reclaiming yours, plan. You've been waiting for something to shift, but the truth is nothing will move until you do. Not the world. Not your purpose, plan. Not your future. Everyone isn't ahead of you because you're incapable, plan. They're ahead of you because they woke up to themselves. They didn't wait for the fear to fade, plan. They didn't wait to feel ready. They just stood up and said, I refuse to live like this. And now it's your turn, plan. This is your moment to wake up, to rise from the fog of fear, doubt, overthinking, and regret, plan. Because as long as you stay asleep to your worth, your calling, your truth, the world will move ahead without you, plan. But the second you choose to open your eyes to what you carry within, you become unstoppable. Comparison, it creeps in quietly. Plan, sometimes without warning, as you scroll through someone else's highlight reel, plan. As you watch people your age or younger living the life you only dream about, and suddenly your joy fades, your confidence falters, plan. You begin to ask yourself, what's wrong with me? But what if I told you there's nothing wrong with you, plan? What if comparison isn't meant to crush you, but to awaken something in you that you've ignored for too long, plan? The ache you feel when you see others ahead of you isn't weakness. It's awareness, plan. It's your soul trying to tell you that there's more within you than what you're allowing, plan. That ache is not jealousy. It's a mirror. A reflection of the gap between your potential and your present, plan. And you can either let that mirror shame you, or you can let it show you what's possible when you stop shrinking, plan. Because comparison only becomes poisonous when you let it define your worth instead of revealing your calling. You see, plan, the truth is the people ahead of you didn't get there by magic. They simply woke up to themselves sooner, plan. They stopped sleeping on their gifts. They stopped waiting for permission. And when you compare yourself to them, plan, you're not being told to quit. You're being invited to start, plan. That feeling of falling behind isn't an insult from life. It's an invitation to rise. Not to be like them, plan, but to be fully you without delay. So instead of asking, why not me? Ask, plan. Why not now? Instead of sitting in silence, use that discomfort as fuel, plan. Let the success of others remind you that it's possible, that it's real, plan, that it's reachable. But only when you stop sleeping through your own story. Let comparison shake you, not shame you, plan. Let it wake you up, not wear you down, because you're not too late. You're just being called to finally show up, plan. It's easy to assume the people ahead of you had something you didn't. More talent, better timing, a clearer path, plan. But most of the time, that's not the truth. They're not ahead because they're smarter, plan. They're not living their dream because they knew exactly what to do. They're ahead of you because they started, plan. While you were doubting yourself, they were taking messy, uncertain, imperfect steps. While you were overthinking, they were moving, plan. We often confuse movement with certainty, but the people who make it don't always feel sure. They just keep showing up, plan. They take the leap even with shaking hands. They write the book even if it's not perfect, plan. They apply for the job even when their voice trembles. The difference isn't in their brilliance. It's in their boldness. Plan. And boldness isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. Moment by moment, decision by decision, day by day. Plan. You don't need to have everything figured out to begin. You just need the courage to take one step. Even a small one. Plan. Most people never get ahead because they wait for a moment that feels safe. But growth doesn't live in safety. Plan. It lives in movement. The ones you admire didn't wait until the fear disappeared. Plan. They simply made a different choice, to walk with fear instead of being ruled by it. And if they could do that, so can you. Plan. So if you've been sitting on your dreams, thinking you're not ready, understand this readiness is a myth. You become ready by beginning. The people ahead of you weren't given a map. They just dared to move without one. Plan. You don't have to be the best to begin, but you do have to begin to become your best. Plan. Stop watching others live the life you keep postponing. It's your turn to stand up and start. Plan. Doubt has a quiet voice, but it speaks often. It doesn't scream like fear. It doesn't chase you like failure. Plan. It simply whispers, "What if you're not enough?" And over time, that whisper becomes familiar. Plan. It wraps itself around your decisions, your dreams, your daily life. Without even realizing it, you begin to slow down. Plan. You begin to shrink. You stay where it's safe. Plan. Not because it fulfills you, but because doubt has convinced you that trying is dangerous. Plan. Every time you've delayed a decision, talked yourself out of a risk. Plan. Or let an idea die inside your mind, that wasn't lack of ability. That was doubt. Plan. Quietly pulling you away from who you were meant to be. Plan. Doubt doesn't need to destroy your dreams loudly. It wins by distracting you from them. It keeps you busy overthinking. Plan. It keeps you stuck comparing. It convinces you that waiting is wisdom, when sometimes waiting is just fear with better branding. Plan. But here's the truth: doubt is not proof that you're weak. It's proof that you care. Plan. You care enough about your dreams that you don't want to mess them up. Plan. You care so deeply about your future that you're afraid to fail in front of it. But what if you started seeing doubt, plan, not as a stop sign, but as a signal that you're standing in front of something meaningful. Plan. A signal that what you want matters, because no one doubts what doesn't matter to them. Plan. You don't need to eliminate doubt to move forward. You just need to stop giving it the final say. Let it ride in the car. Plan. But don't give it the steering wheel. The more you take action, the quieter doubt becomes. It may not disappear. Plan. But it will no longer distract you from your direction. You've given doubt enough of your time, your talent, and your energy. Plan. It's time to turn the volume down on that voice and listen to the one inside you that's been waiting to rise. So many of us walk around afraid of time, afraid that we've missed the mark. Plan. Missed our chance, missed the life we were supposed to live. We look at the calendar at our age. Plan. At the milestones others have reached, and we convince ourselves that the window has closed. But time is not the enemy. Plan. Time never punishes you. It only reflects how you've used it. Plan. What hurts us is not the ticking clock. It's the opportunities we've allowed to pass while waiting for the perfect moment to begin. Plan. Wasted potential doesn't scream. It quietly decays your spirit. It leaves you with a lingering ache. Plan. A sense of restlessness that can't be satisfied. And the longer you ignore it, the louder it becomes. Not in noise, but in regret. Plan. The truth is, you don't need more time, you need more truth. More honesty about how much you've held back. Plan. Not because you were incapable, but because you were scared. Scared of judgment. Scared of failing. Plan. scared of what would happen if you finally gave it everything. But you can't keep blaming time for the life you haven't lived. Plan. Because time, no matter how much you have or don't have, is neutral. Plan. What matters is what you do with the minutes that are already yours. Plan. Every second you spend doubting your potential is a second you've given away. Not to time, but to fear. Plan. And you are not here to live a half-lived life. You are not here to wonder what could have been. Plan. You are here to do something with the potential inside you before it withers into what-ifs. So instead of fearing time, plan, honor it, use it. Don't wait for a clean slate, a new year, or someone else's permission. Plan. Don't fall into the illusion that starting later means starting with less. Some people start early and burn out fast. Plan. But those who start late, they start deep. They start with intention. They start with fire in their bones. And sometimes, plan. That's all it takes to catch up. And go even further. We live in a world obsessed with timelines. By this age, plan. You should be successful. By that age, you should be settled. And when your story doesn't follow that script, plan, you begin to wonder if it was ever meant to happen for you at all. You see others achieving everything you dreamed of. Plan. And a quiet lie begins to whisper inside you. Maybe it's too late for me. Maybe it's just not my turn. But the truth is, plan. Your story isn't denied. It's simply unfolding on a timeline that's different and sacred. Plan. Some of the most beautiful chapters are the ones written last. You are not falling behind. You are being prepared. Every delay, plan. Every detour, every unanswered prayer, they weren't meant to stop you. They were shaping you. Plan. Slowing you down just enough to build the strength, the wisdom, the resilience you'll need to handle the dream when it arrives. Plan. Because not all waiting is wasted time. Some waiting is growing time. What you call a delay may be divine protection. Plan. Maybe you weren't ready then. Not because you weren't good enough, but because your heart needed healing. Plan. Your mind needed clarity, your soul needed anchoring. Maybe if you had received it too soon, plan, you would have broken under the weight of it. But now you're becoming someone who can hold it, nurture it, honor it. Plan. This isn't punishment. This is preparation. So when you feel the age of time passing, plan. When it seems like everyone has moved ahead, don't let that lie convince you to give up. Plan. You don't have to be on someone else's timeline to be valid. Your story is still being written. Plan. And some of the most extraordinary stories take time to unfold. Not because they are weak, plan, but because they are meant to last. Fear is not always loud. It doesn't always come rushing in like a storm. Sometimes, plan, fear disguises itself as logic, as excuses, as hesitation. Plan, as the endless loop of, what if I fail? It wraps itself around your dreams and convinces you to wait, to delay, to doubt. Plan. But the truth is, it's not time that's holding you back. It's not your past or your lack of resources. Plan. It's the fear that has quietly built a home inside your thoughts. And you've believed it for too long. Plan. Fear isn't your enemy. It's your warning light. It tells you you're stepping outside your comfort zone. Plan. And that's where real growth lives. But if you let fear sit in the driver's seat, it will take you nowhere new. Plan. It will convince you that staying still is safer than moving forward. Plan. And the cost of that belief is your life. Not the one you're surviving through, but the one you're meant to live. Plan. Fear may be present, but it doesn't have to be in control. The people who are ahead of you, plan. They're not fearless. They just stopped letting fear dictate their destiny. They wake up every day with doubt and anxiety to plan, but they walk anyway, they speak anyway, they try anyway. Plan. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's the choice to move forward in spite of it. And you too have that choice. Plan. You don't need to eliminate the fear. You just need to stop letting it paralyze your purpose. Plan. You've already missed too many moments. You've already stayed silent in too many rooms where your voice mattered. Plan. You've already said, maybe tomorrow, too many times. But now it's time to wake up. Not just from sleep, plan, but from the illusion that fear must be gone before you begin. The real freedom comes when you realize, plan, you can be afraid and still move. You can tremble and still rise. Plan. There's something incredibly painful about feeling behind in life. Plan. It almost feels like watching a train pull away while you're still standing on the platform, paralyzed. Plan. Carrying bags too heavy with regret, doubt, and hesitation. You look around and see others far ahead, building, achieving, plan, living, and a quiet voice inside you says, it's too late, I missed my chance, but that voice is wrong. Plan. You haven't missed your moment. You just haven't gotten up yet. You can catch up. You can still rise. Plan. Not because you're rushing to compete with anyone else, but because there's so much within you that hasn't been lived yet. Plan. The people ahead of you aren't running faster. They just stood up while you stayed sitting. Plan. You keep waiting for motivation to lift you. But motivation doesn't come from waiting. It comes from moving. Plan. It comes from choosing to stand even when your legs are shaking and your heart is heavy. Plan. Getting up doesn't mean having all the answers. It doesn't mean being ready. It means being done with settling. Plan. It means looking at your life, the dreams left untouched, the passions you've silenced. Plan. The strength you've forgotten, and deciding that your story deserves a second wind. Plan. Every step forward is a vote for the life you still want to live. Plan. And every step you refuse to take is a quiet agreement with the life you don't want anymore. Plan. You don't need to catch up to the world. Plan. You need to catch up to yourself, to the version of you that's been buried under fear and fatigue. That version is still alive. Plan. Still waiting, still possible. But it won't move until you do. This isn't about racing, it's about rising. Plan. And you don't rise by staying down, you rise by getting up, slowly, bravely, again and again, until one day, plan. You look in the mirror and realize you're not behind anymore. Plan. You're exactly where you were always meant to be. So maybe they are ahead of you. Maybe they started before you did. Plan. Maybe they believed in themselves when you were still doubting your worth. But that doesn't mean you've lost. Plan. That doesn't mean your story is over. Because this is your beginning. Plan. It only takes one moment of truth to change the direction of a life. One decision to rise. One breath of courage to say, I'm done watching. Plan. I'm ready to begin. You don't need to catch up to anyone. You only need to catch up to the version of you that's been waiting for you to stop doubting. Plan. Waiting for you to stop delaying. Waiting for you to wake up. This is your permission. This is your sign. Plan. Not because the world is moving fast, but because your soul is calling loud. And now it's your turn. Plan. So don't just open your eyes, open your life. Stand up. Step forward. And catch up, not to them, but to you. Plan. Because everything you thought you missed is still waiting right where you left it.